The story of Darfur, I think, stays with me and is I think so powerful, and it epitomizes what I'm trying to capture. Darfur is a refugee camp. If the men leave the refugee camp to go out to the outskirts to gather wood, they will be killed, because surrounding the camp are the rebels who drove them out of their villages and burned their villages to start with. So the men will be killed if they leave the camp. So it's the women who go out to gather wood and water and whatever's needed and to bring it back. And those same rebels rape and gang rape the women who go out to provide for their families. If the woman tells anyone, particularly her husband, that she's been raped, he will divorce her because she has been with another man and she will never see her children again. I received an email from the Stephen Lewis Foundation saying that they were having a conference. They were bringing in 100 grandmothers from Africa and 200 grandmothers from Canada to meet and share stories. So I thought, well, that's 300 women, older women in a room, and I have to be there. They struck me, many of them, as just so plain and ordinary on the outside that, as I've said before, you could pass them on the street and you wouldn't notice them. So often their posture is just so beautiful from having carried so much on their heads, and they just carry themselves like nobility. The first speaker said very, very emphatically to us that the greatest fear that the grandmothers had in coming to the conference, most of these women had never been out of their village or their city or wherever they were from, but their greatest anxiety in coming to the conference was that they might be seen as victims. That idea of no matter what comes along, you are not a victim, is what I tried to carry through to my work. I asked many of the women at the conference, I said, what is your strength? What keeps you going? And every single one of them answered, my faith. God will look after me. But one of the stories that Stephen Lewis has told since then, he said when he was a UN envoy in Africa dealing with AIDS, he was at hospitals, he would go to the hospitals and hear the women weeping because their children had died, and realized then that the families were being supported by the grandmothers. It was the grandmothers who always took the children, and then that they became, the new caregivers, the guardians. And he said he met women there who were so shy. He said there was never any eye contact when he spoke with them, and they were just insular. He said, I've met some of these women since then, and he said they're protesting, they're in the face of their politicians saying, what are you doing? My kids are not going, grandchildren are not in school. I need money, there need to be pensions for grandmothers. And so some of these same grandmothers are, they're organizing street marches and protests, letter writing campaigns. They're in the face of the politician, and you just know that these are very powerful, dignified, capable women. And my hope for the show is that people who see it, the sculpture is my voice, and I hope the people who see it will find their voice. I hope that they will talk to someone about the abuse and say, this needs to stop, what can we do? I hope someone will write a song, and someone a poem, and someone a letter to a politician, and some lawyer will say, I'll take the case, and it's like, this has to stop. It's just not acceptable.